Okay, this is sports journalism. Just have to continue and look into one or two things. So what I'm just saying that the media institution, I mean, want you to go in dangerous places. They know that it's a dangerous issue. But what they want is if you can get information from that place, it's good for them. Because if you can uncover something, headline will sell. Imagine there's something happening. So I'm just saying that in our national stories desk, maybe or national desk, there is a lot of that because it's to do mostly with politics, health, so on. But in sports, there are not much of that. That's why in sports and in business, they are much more. That is funny because most of the, I mean, if you go and dig, you discover that most of the corrupt practices would be involving business, right? Which is very normal. If you go around and check how the people do their business, you discover there is a lot of shady businesses going around. Business people, right? Welcome. I don't know after what? After a short break. Or I think maybe you are around there. I'm not sure. I think you lose sight. Because sometimes there are courses you take and some you don't take. So sometimes I think you take it, some you don't. Okay. Right, but last time when you were around in the last class, okay, did you try to keep track what we did? Because I say the easiest way of people. So I think if you don't come in any certain day, try to keep up with your colleagues. What did you do? Some of the things the notes around for you to just say, okay, I have done this. Because unfortunately, I cannot repeat whatever I've done in the whole 2 hours. Yes? Okay, fine. Which room are you? Okay, does another share the bed? Yes. Okay, maybe it's a big room. You have also many students. You have all. Okay. Right, so let's say that when you are alone, nobody is here, I could rewind it because you were just yourself. But when everybody is here, for me to rewind, it's a problem. I even forgot what I did last time because it's gone, whatever. But maybe you check it out. Your colleagues will tell you what we did last time. What were you doing last time? What were you doing last time? I think even you were not around. You were not. What did you do last time? That's what I think you will be working on that. That's important. Because scenario like what you happen is telling you. It has happened to us before. Whereby you get the notes, you keep them. I'm going to read it. You get it, you just solve all the problems, you are keeping them, they are finding out. The time you think that you're going to read them, because reading is not a matter of just reading. Understanding what you are reading, that's the issue. So to have so many notes to understand them is a problem. But it's easier, like, the good thing would be today, you're going something today. Create time is the very same thing. So just to go through, I've done that. For me, I encourage much more just to know what you are playing. Not to be knowledgeable, to know them. What were they talking about? If you didn't understand any question, many classes like this one, you ask, okay, what did you mean here? Right, so I do believe last time you were talking about, okay, so you said you don't remember what you talked about. I believe you were talking about is it covering the game, right? We were talking about covering the game last time, whereby we talked about the is it pre-game? The advanced stories, right? There's this, what is the story that is called the advance, meaning that is story whereby you write before the game. There is a match, and you know that there's going to be a match. So you're going to be having the information about those that match. So the information we say includes all statistics, which players are likely to feature, which players are they going is likely going to be there. How compared the two? Okay, previous 5 games, in which they meet these two, who was victorious? So you have all those statistics. What is the scenario of whatever? And we talked about even for your own personal closure with the players and sports personnel. We say you might even go to their training ground. Because when you go to their training ground, you are going to get more closer with them because they are their own place. You talk to them, not just about sports only. You must just develop a relationship and they will know you. So when they know you, they know that you maybe chat with them. And when you ask them, when you want to get information, because we talked about that, there's a problem like after the game. If you want to get good sound bites or good quotes in sports, you get it immediately after the game because you're going to have emotions running around there. Now, when you ask, especially the losing team, they are reluctant to tell you more because they have lost. Even the manager doesn't want to speak to you much. They will just want to get rid of you, right? So we say you are in a relationship with them because you chat with them. They will be flexible and answer you, give you the questions, answers. And he also talked about you should be able to know when they gave you half answers. Because we say research is able. You don't go to an interview, not just a sports interview, any interview you can go. You don't go there without research. If you go there without research, you will not get much of information. But what do? You do your research before you go to the match. Now, after the match, when you are asking them questions, if they give you half the answer, not the full answer, you will know because you have researched that no, this is not everything. There is something that is different. But if you didn't research, you think everything's what they have told, right? So that's what we talked about, and then we talked about after the game. So we'll just continue from there. So in the meantime, I'll just talk about the news, sports, the different 24 days of the sports day, and news. Sports journalists, whereby people they'll feel a little bit relaxed in sports journalism unlike the others because there is less controversy. So I was giving an example with business. I was saying if you go around and you don't go to get the information, just do your own research. People who are in that business, the way they do their business. You see, there's a lot of shady deals. Some evade maybe tax. Some maybe they manipulate their skills. Some maybe they sell expired contracts. It's happening. They don't change the label. So there are a lot of things. But now, it's an area where a lot of criminal activities, let's just say shady activities happens. But you go and get the newspaper. Any newspaper you can, like Daily Times, go to the business page. Look at, check all this, the usual business page is inside. Check the stories. You will later find a story that is talking about something that is a criminal or something that is a shady business. The stories are straightforward and they sound more as maybe an anecdote. So you tend to wonder what happens, whereby we know on actual ground there should be a lot of stories talking about there was a company that was manipulating this, but you don't usually see them. You might even find that one on the national page. So for me, I'll say if you saw the way they conduct it, I say, the business guy, the problem, that's now on the actual ground. I saw how these sources, because you have to know every story is done going behind, even in sports. You have got sources. So some of the sources that we use in sports are not the same sources that are used in business. even in national stories. Now, most of the sources that are in business, they are very shrewd themselves because they're in business, so they know how to palm oil your hand. That's what I could use there. They will tell you, okay, we're going to function. And usually they won't you. Most of the stories in business, you discover that you don't even go and send them, but they usually send you later when you call you. How will this function on this day? Can you be available? Can you send someone? Oh, yeah, we're going to say, what time can we come and pick you? They will send you a transport. And when you say transport, they will not just bring in other vehicle, they will bring a luggage and vehicle to pick you. When they pick you, that function might be happening in a certain hotel somewhere. So you're going to be sitting with hotel snack, hotel food. And after that, you do the thing, they will give you a package. Food package. They will not tell you that you are buying your store. But with that scenario, you sort of know, the way I dealt with these guys, I know how I enjoyed it. So you can't buy the right store. And the other people, they know you're not going to be in bad relationship with these guys. We're not going to enjoy. But they see other people business reporters enjoy. Yeah. So that will be one of the reasons why maybe we don't see most of these other stories. And so in its business, reporters are more at ease. Only the problem comes when it comes to this national desk that is report about politics, because they are pushing that conversation. So I'd say the only problem we have got here, they don't give you protection, because you need to have protection from, you will be harmed by those people, like politicians. You want to expose someone, and you might cause maybe even people in power to go out of power. So there's a problem. So I'm saying in our sports, there's also that area, but it's not a common issue, because most of the, as I said, most of the stories we cover in sports are stories that are already of the game that are already planned, are already on paper. And we'll focus on most of the journalists, they don't focus much on other issues. They focus more on the game. But I'm saying if you do your research and you do your job well, it's where you discover that there's more, as I said, that you need to keep in mind that as a sports journalist, you don't just report only about the game. Because these guys, people who read sports or sports readers, they are not just looking for the results of the game. They are looking for almost everything. Because we talked about, if you watch football, I gave an example, the modern technology, VAR. Some of the decisions I given yesterday in the game, Manchester United versus Barcelona. Marcus Rashford was fouled. When you look at rewind, it was a clear foul, and it will be the penalty. The referee gave that. You go to the other side, somebody was fouled of Barcelona, and it will be the meaning of foul than even this one. Now they gave a free kick. So now it was a commotion. We said, no. Immediately there was a foul, then will be the penalty. You gave nothing. So why you give something? So if you include such events, that's why I discovered no. There could be something happening behind the door, beyond what we see on the door. You never know, there could be something being done behind, somebody being given money. Well, that's now another story. But it's a story that even people who are sports fans, who are just waiting to listen to hear about the results, they might be interested to listen to say, okay, we were suspicious, because you heard about this match fixing. Match fixing is there, it's real. Not only in football. We have got it. I think if you follow sports, there was this marathon, let me say, an athlete who was good in marathon, Lance Armstrong. He was, I think, from, if you know this tournament, not tournament, but this marathon called Tour de France. Maybe you have heard about before. The biggest marathon in the world is called Tour de France. It's done in France, no wonder the name, Tour de France. Now he has been winning. Tour de France, like the goal, let me say, I should maybe around the country. Maybe like Malawi, it will be maybe coming from maybe Branta, or along maybe maybe like going back. So there could be maybe 100 disciples going together. Now, after that journey, it's going to be one winner. So he has been winning a lot of competitions. Now, after a while, somebody did a research on his doping issue. And somebody discovered that he was using a certain chemical that was banned, whether some other banned chemicals, but their performance enhancing. So it was a special story. He pursued it, and he was denying, no, I don't use that. But now a reporter is persisted pursuing the story until it was proven that it was true. And he admitted that, oh yeah, he had been taking that. Now, I don't know how many prophets he had. But because now he was proven that he was guilty, he was stripped of all his values, all of them. He won so over the years, all of them were stripped. That is not the honor to those prophets. I mean, our words. So I'm saying that could be the other side of sports. There's Lance Armstrong. There's a certain runner. She was a female runner from USA, Marion Jones. Maybe you heard about it. Maybe you can just Google and check Marion, the story of Marion Jones. She was very popular. She just was discovered that there was a doping issue, whatever. Then all the medals were taken out. So the only thing I'm saying, maybe we have less also in sports people pursuing these kind of stories is maybe similar a little bit to what we talk about in business, whereby when you are a sports reporter, you usually go into places where you enjoy yourself most of the time. And when you don't struggle to dig for information that is hidden. Because when you ask for information, most of the information are available. But when you are looking for something that is clean in nature, sources, they don't give you those information. So you have to dig. So when you start digging, you create enmity with your sources, which is not a good thing. By myself, I can be an example because I say that I noticed it. I say there was a certain, as I told you, that a good reporter, you have to have adequate sources. When a story broke, for example, they say story about national medical team, it means you should have contacts with maybe players in the national team, medical team, maybe officials in the council medical team in the number. So there was one of the spokesperson of the body that oversee medical in Malawi, right? So I will say, okay, this story, you need to interview her. So I called her. So I was surprised what she said. She didn't say, you can come. She said, oh, no. I said, okay, maybe you can call me around 10, but you should call me when you are coming. So if you say around 10, then you say I should call you when you are coming. Why? So for me, what I did, when I was going, I didn't call. I just picked the cameraman and we wait. When she was waiting somewhere. So when we reached there now, I asked the reception, said she's around, and she came up. She was furious. Why are you waiting? Maybe you should call me when you are coming. But I found her. Why is she like upset? We talked about the same time. No, why are you? So I didn't, when you come, I will decide not to give you the interview. So she was just embarrassed because I was a new person. So I was wondering why is she acting like that? And then she allowed that to happen. So when I was by that way, I was asking, I said, who did you interview? So I mentioned her name, and somebody was saying, I don't know. So I was wondering, why are they saying that? So I discovered the issue I'm talking about, that they wrote a number of stories about her organization, because she was one of the top guys. Negative stories which show that the body, they swindle money because they don't give the money they collect, they don't give adequate money to the players. So it was like more negative story. So because of that, she developed like a little bit opposing mentality to the reporters who wrote it. So unfortunately, I'm saying maybe because of that, you discover most of the reporters and sports and journalists, maybe they run away from such kind of stories. They say we want to be in good terms with the source. Because if it's the actual only sports guy, you will be traveling around. They wouldn't be even invited all this about tournament here, and you have to go. So maybe that would be the thing. Yeah, but as I'm saying, no, you just have to know that there are those things happening. If you like even to specialize in reporting about, and the only thing I'm saying is, information like those, they sell newspapers, but now everything. And the problem is you have got an institution that is not really protected. Because you might be, I've seen scenario for myself, a scenario whereby one of the sports guys, who even in the newsroom was like posting as if he's a good fighter. That's what he was saying. Because he said he has done boxing. But he was manhandled when he went to the stadium. Because what he was doing, a post-match game, as I'm saying, post-match analysis. As I said, after the game, you go through the game. So you analyze the game. So the way he was analyzing, he was like as if he was in special, criticizing the coach. So the supporters of that, from the committee of that team, were listening to him. So when he went to the stadium to do exercises, they waited at him at the stadium and he confronted him. No, we heard what he was talking about yesterday, what we were talking about in the program. So he said, no. And now we had people to, and what he said when he was coming back, he pretended to say, no, it's like, and his father, one of the guys who set him up, was even his friend. Because one of the guys at the committee, he was his friend. But now, because he was talking bad about the committee he was in, he was trying to say that he didn't even tell him that there are people who are waiting for you. Just chat with him and let him go. It's when he discovered people are coming, then the other assembling him. So I know he said that they were sitting with me, and then I talked about it, and I played. But what I heard from the only viewer, he said, no, he did not just play. They gave him 2 or 3 slaps. You see, but he didn't report it because it was an edit. He didn't talk about that. But one of the sources said, no, they manhandled him and they slapped him. And the only problem was he was a Muslim. Yeah? So because of that, he was feeling that it should be embarrassing to hear that he was slapped. Yeah? So he didn't tell the story, but it happens. So I was saying, those are the scenarios that will happen when you are saying, okay, I'm trying to explain this, and you are trying to be a little bit controversial. So in sports, those things can happen. And people will be talked about to say, don't even ever come to our matches. And then we don't want to see you again. These big teams have got their committees. So they would even tell you some reporters. I remember one of the guys who was the same. We live another reporter. The same scenario happened. He was talking about the same thing for another team. And now people also came for him, beat him up because of that. It was on the program. Right, so that's what happens. Okay, so we talked about covering the game. I know there this one, but we talked about covering the game, and as I say, when you still covering the game, it's for all aspects of the game. And today I want us to go through. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we talked about, I think last time we talked about covering, no, I didn't talk about that once. All right. After the game, I think I stopped here, but we're talking about sports jargon. Okay, we say sports objectivity in covering up. The sports writer doesn't have to be completely neutral either, because that's another issue. If you go in this, I told you that in Sky Sport, there's a program whereby there are 3-4 hosts. There's a main host who is the female, Now, the other three hosts, co-hosts, they are former football players. One of them is Thierry Henry. I told you, Thierry Henry. The other one is Liverpool player, former Liverpool player called Jamie Carragher. The other one is Michael Richards. Yes? Okay. The other one is Michael Richards, the former Manchester City player. Right? So they analyze issues there. So because they already know that this guy only was a former Barcelona player and the former Arsenal player and the former France player. So when they talk about Arsenal, they know that he cannot be new because he was a former player. So most of the time when they are talking about it, you really be defeated. And they know that he was a former player. Another team. Jamie Carragher, the same thing. When they talk about Liverpool, usually he defends it. So they know, they understand it, not because it was a former. So that's why we talk about that. It's not all the time that you say that the sports journalists are going to be completely objective. That they are not supporting. It's almost impossible. Because what I'm saying, I should be ready to say you are sports journalists. They are going to be YouTube. Have you noticed the way they commentate when their country's team is playing against a foreign team? You can even literally see that this person is supporting. He's not going to say, like Malawi does, you say our team is going to be part of the supporting. So you have got those areas, there's a little bit partial element because you are in sports. So that's why you say, but sports writer doesn't have to be completely neutral either. Don't readers expect the local writers to be rooting for the home team? This is what I'm saying. If he's a local writer, if you can really observe the tone of the writer, you even see that a person is like a little bit patriotic in his writing, because he is a citizen of that team, country, right? So it's the same as if you have maybe a sports reporter belonging to a certain, assuming in maybe a location, maybe he's belonging to maybe area 25. So there's an area 25 team against another. If you can observe how he's going to be maybe writing the story, you will notice that there's going to be an element of like favoring a little bit one team, where he's coming from. Right? But the only thing is, there should be a lot of have using facts, right? And the sports reporters try to be objective. That's what they try. They will claim to try hard to be objective, but they also stress what the players on their team did or didn't do. You see, so when they're talking about, that's what I'm saying. You see, they say, but had it been we try to do this, and they will even go away from now being just a reporter, but they'll be like part of it. We would have just maybe make sure that we've done this and that. Yes? You are getting chair 1,000 each. Just say. Right, so that's what's happening. And writers should avoid taking a hometown angle unless they are writing a column. And even then they should try to be as even handled as possible. Even handled as possible. Yeah. So the thing is, I'm saying, the only thing is because it's an obvious thing that if you know a sports reporter who is writing a story, it belongs to a certain maybe location in where one of the team maybe belongs. So you can have observe that element of trying to talk food about that. But the only thing you do as a professional, you should not, it should not be obvious. Unless, as I say, that is maybe a quorum for sports, meaning there is a quorum where one person is analyzing. It's less like an opinion page. Or as well as talking about if it's an analysis game on TV, so usually give you personal opinions. as I talked about the game where they were teaching on the program, whereby they will be asking you to give your analysis according to you. And this one, so it will be an analysis with combining with an opinion. And this guy will even disagree with you and give us his also argument. And usually, the only guy when you are putting the host. A host is the one that is supposed to be making sure that it is as neutral as possible. The other guys are going to be neutral, but it's going to be a little bias. But you, as if it's the main host, you should be able to balance up, maybe to notice that maybe this person is a little bit biased, and try to even things up. Say, no, let's talk maybe like, we are not from there. Because those things are usually happening, especially when you have got like if it's a program and there is debate. Or I'm saying if it's a one, it's obvious because you're going to be poor in your own things. But normally, as I say, as a professional, objectivity is still important. Or even that happening, but you may need to make it because if you forgot about objectivity, now you are going to be looking as if it's already professional. You are right up some people feel like you are leaving out some other information. But there should be, you should strive to be as objective as possible. So I talked about sports jargon, as I said that you just have to notice that we are also that specific language. And then so we talk about sports, good sports writing depends on the same writing and recording techniques and then other news, but in addition following basics rules, sports writers must also deal with the unique terminology of each sport, as I want to say, and it's just like that in so many aspects. Post-game analysis, on the post-game analysis, we'll talk about this. Okay, I don't know if I talk about this, but let me just go through it. Maybe I talk to you. But they say, usually, post-game analysis, after this game, you have to analyze the game. So, what people say if after the game, it's not all about just to tell the people, maybe the end of how the team played and how they scored. There are some other people now saying if you want to be a good sports writer in a post-game analysis, you should write more and beyond just giving out the way the play of the game and the score. But you should exploit the emotions that were exhibited. You were talking about maybe this team won. What were the emotions? You can see, so you should be able to describe those emotions in your writing. Well, that's another issue. Like, they gave an example here. Okay, like here they say there's another, this one, another sports commentator of one of these popular stations, NBC, not NBC, but NBC. He once said that the beauty of all sports is how grown adults can act like little kids. You see someone, after a team was scored, you see a grown-up person that is always quiet. Jump up in the air as if it was maybe a 12-year-old kid. So there are going to be some other expressions that grown-up men will do because of sports. So we say if you want to be a good, sports writer, a post-game analysis, what you're going to do is after a game, the coach is jumping in the air as if it's a kid. So you're not going to just write about, the coach was excited. That is not going to be the whole story. So it means you need to have adjectives, even verbs, that you will explain what the coach has done. Someone who is reading your paper should be able to visualize, should be able to see the coach jumping in the air in your text. Something like that. What I'm talking about is the emotional parts is important to the writing, because most of the people who forgot about the emotion part will think only about, the actual game, maybe the results. But in here, like there's an example here, talk about there was a certain editor who was a blind editor, right? So what he was doing, when his reporters came to report to him, he was telling them to explain about the game. Can you tell me what went on in that game? So they were explaining. It started like this, it was going like this, and he did it like this. Now he was asking, okay, can you tell me about the emotions that you observed from the beginning, from the manager? Tell me everything that you observed. Now he was now concentrating on those emotions to see that he is more than just giving out that information. He talk about sports and bring out the same emotions in 30-year-old professional or baseball players as they do in 80-year-old leaguers, right? So sports writing is about reporting those emotions. Right? Whether it's about a blowout or a close game, every sports event produces at least one prevailing emotion. So you can see the game, maybe you might not notice much, but there might be one or two emotions that were maybe exhibited that would be very interesting if you write that up. You see? So it means when you are writing, you should just make sure that somewhere try to describe a certain emotion, maybe by the coach or by the player. So it will bring that excitement to your approach, right? And here's talk about capture that emotion in your story, right? If there is a certain prevailing emotion in the game, make sure that you capture that in your story. Support it with descriptions and quotations, right? So you explain. Then maybe you were interviewed, as I said, post game. You interviewed the manager, right? You talk about what the manager said, then you describe how he was looking. Maybe he was very excited to the extent that maybe he was crying. Maybe the tears was coming out. Right? So you explain his appearance, then you add a quote on what he was talking about, what he said. So it will be much more, when somebody reads, it will be as if he's seeing an image, yes? Yeah, because when you just say that, for example, the coach was excited. So when you say the coach was excited, because let me say print, you are supposed to paint mental pictures. I should be able to be visualizing what you are writing. So if you say excited, what are you seeing? What is excited? When I say he is excited, what does excited look like? Was he smiling? Was he frowning? So it's a problem. It's like something that is not clear, right? But you saw what he did. Right? So you will find some other adjective whereby you say you describe it, right? And even some will say they will use the anecdotes, they will use the metaphors to explain. Like you're talking about maybe like a they talk about this, we are putting share, how many hyenas putting share. So they laugh. So you really put that, But he said this, why he was laughing like hyenas of share. You put myself, people who visualize it, the share hyenas, they laugh like this. It means he was looking like this. So you are giving a picture into people's heads, and they are reading your stories. So this is what professional sports writers they talk about. Because as I said, most of these experts, maybe even in journalism, if you ask maybe some of these, their tricks, most of them they will not tell you, right? And as I tell you that I explained that before, whereby we knew that okay, the secret is having sources, and I've been talking about this for a number of times. So we noticed that okay, you have your boss is in office, he did not move around. And now he went out there, came stories, he came back with one story. He did not go anywhere, he wrote 3 stories. How did it happen? So it's all about the sources. Now you say, okay, this person has not, you have been a handicap like this, with a lot of names. So he was like, no. You like it was like a test. Can you give me a contact for this one? And then you look at it and say, I'm supposed to be getting contacts from you. That's what he said. So next time I said, okay, can I go? It was a Peter. Can I just borrow your contact book? I just wanted to like open photocopy and read the pages so that I have the numbers. So then he paused for a while. They said, oh, okay. So the meaning is going to give me another time. He did it. So you can see, because he knew that the trick to his coming up with stories while he's just at the desk is this contact. You see? But for him to share, it was a problem. Yeah? So that's the problem. So I'm saying, in that way, you need to just find ways on your own to discover, the tricks. Yeah? So some of them they will tell you, like in the way they did in this book, whereby somebody interviewed a person and they reviewed one or two things. So when you hear something like this, you need to keep this. So these are professionals. They have been doing these things for years. So if you want to be good in something, you learn from the best. That's what you do. Because sometimes, how do we manage to do this? Okay. Observe the person who manages to do that. What does this person do? I remember in my mind, I remember where I say, if you are not good in maths, be friend to somebody who is good in maths. You see? Then you will see what he does. But unfortunately, because when you are not good in maths, I think it's a funny thing, because people who are not good in maths, like you form a club. You know that. You form a club on your own, whereby you convince yourself that mathematics is difficult. And you believe that. And the person who is passing mathematics, you need to fear to reflect that person to know how he does it. Only a few people, maybe one person or another person, reflect that person. But that one, but whatever the case I'm saying, it's possible. So that's what I emphasize on the emotional part, which is important. You support the emotions with the descriptions and quotation. Make the emotion the theme of your entire story, right? So you want to write a story. Okay, it's about this game. All right. So the results, and the way they play. Now you analyze some of the top emotions. So when you want to write it, instead of just writing what the results, no. The main thing should be the emotion, right? Try to create a headline using the emotion you noticed there. Then you start from there. It's going to be a very exciting story if you can do that. And if you can write a story, I think some of most of the exciting stories in sport, they do use that too. Whereby, if they can say, for example, victorious, then they have a picture, maybe of the manager throwing a fist in the air. Then they will use that picture and then they will check the victorious element. It's like what he was doing. He was displaying that he's victorious. So it means you get an idea of coming out the headline from the emotion, right? Then the story you even start writing from that angle of the emotion. Because as I said, when you have a sports story, you don't write it as the national story. You don't start by you don't use the inverted pyramid to start with the most important issue. In sports, you can start as if you are writing a novel. You start just describing with some other terms as if it's a point. So it's better when you start descriptions. It's more or less like, as I say, creative writing. So I think when you have that mentality, okay, when we're in sports, we are like more or less like dealing with something that is closer to creative writing than just reporting. So the use of language means figurative language, is highly present, whereby you use all the figurative language, you try to be as creative as possible. Unlike other ordinary stories, whereby you are able to just reporting about what has happened. Right? And as I'm saying, with go to the sports, you see that you pre-plan the excitement. As I talked about, the image you're going to use, it means you carry if you focus on the emotion, then it will make much more sense the emotion you are describing. So, like there's some other question you say, how do you evoke the emotions on the paper? How do you make the action come alive on paper? So, an example, as I told you here, say, in addressing this issue, Jaron Moye, a journalism professor at the University of Missouri, often tells his students the story of a blind newspaper publisher. The one I was talking about. So the publisher was a blind newspaper publisher. The publisher would ask reporters to come into his office and tell him about their stories, right? And often they would just tell him the facts, the who, the what, where, when, how, and why the story, why the story, right? But patiently, the publisher would ask about the emotions that were evident on the faces of the people. He'd leave each reporter with one piece of advice. He told them, make me see your story. So that's the advice. You are telling me about sports, okay? Don't just like make me hear. If you tell me about the results, it's like as if I'm just hearing. Oh, I would hear it, no. I'm not seeing, I'm not visualizing. What do you mean by that? But if you want to write a good sports article, okay, in your head it's okay. How can I tell this story to this and that a person who is reading will be like he's seeing the game? Right? So that's why you see that you need to employ other adjectives and other like descriptions to describe like not just the game itself, like the players playing, what he was doing, maybe what the plans were doing, or maybe the atmosphere. So you combine descriptions of the environment, descriptions of maybe the emotions, you see. So when you combine that plus the facts, people will be able to see the story, right? An example would just be the stories, stories that or short stories we have been read by our parents or our brothers when we were young. We had some other stories like in Chijio we say Hamlet. I remember somebody who is a very good narrator. For example, I had my blood. He was a very good narrator, especially when it comes to movies. And when there's a movie that we've never seen and he has watched it, we really tell, can you narrate about this movie? And then we would sit down somewhere. And when he was narrating this, it was as if we were watching the film. We even now, there are some other people that I've never watched them until now. But I can remember the way he was saying, and I had a picture on whatever he was saying, as if I'm seeing, it looks like this. So that's exactly how a sports journalist mentality need to be, whereby being able to tell the story in a manner that whoever reads it should be like a scene. So this is what I advise that this blind reporter says. And yet he continued saying, don't just make your readers see, however, make them hear the crack. If you did, he was talking about here, I think the best basketball. You know, basketball, when someone is playing, if you have watched a basketball game, when someone is playing, you hear those noises like from the sneakers clicking like against the floor, the court. So you have those sounds, you have some other elements or the noises that are associated with the game. So when you are talking about a specific game, those unique elements that are even, whether it's a sound, whether it's a bad sound, you will include them. It means people will listen to what you are the game and they will visualize what you both say. If even at football matches, you are accustomed to hear like the crowd noise. So you might even say, okay, at this point, I know how some of the crowds supports it. There is some other time they will support with the loud noise. Some an opposing team has scored, there will be a silence. Completely 10%, and you say no. So if you are writing about it, that is something regular. That is the crowd that was making noise, very like you compare something to something that making noise. Instantly became silent, quiet. Like you compare something that usually is quiet. Because that's how you connect it. And then you talk about why did that happen? Was this player just a sport? Yeah. He did this. So you try, it's not like this, you are writing, you are dramatizing the story. Right? But the idea is to make them, the reader, to more or less like see what you say. Like you talk about, as I talk about, say, make them hear the crack of the bat, the rip of the basketball net, the roar of the crowd, make them smell the locker room after two-day practices. Yeah? There is a locker room there. Because you are the sports journalist, you even go to the locker room. Yeah? When they say, as a professional sports journalist, you don't just go and report what is happening in the playing field. You talk about what is happening in the playing field. You talk about what is happening off the field, just immediately off the field now. Then you report about what is happening in the locker rooms, where the players will go after the game. Because you even hear about someone else story where they say there was a commotion in the locker room. Players were angry, they were arguing. It could have, there would be some other things that would happen in the locker room that could even affect the game. You see, I heard in some of these top games, I remember, there's even some of the, one of the, there was a clip, the World Cup, the first World Cup. Is it Morocco? I think Morocco. One of the teams, he defeated one of the top team. So the first half, it was losing. Now, during the halftime, somebody recorded, I don't know who recorded, they are recording all the times. The talk the manager had with the players during that period. Now, immediately after the halftime, the team started playing different, and they ended up winning. They won the game. So, after winning the game, now the locker room video became viral. People they say, no. Do you see the way he was telling, the way he was talking to this player during that time? That would have had an impact. So I'm saying, you as a sports reporter, you know that you need to analyze. That is a post game. You need to analyze why did this team that was losing in the first half all of a sudden turn the game in the second half. So for an ordinary sports reader could not guess what happened. But for you, who is able to go to the locker room and that, you should be able to know, to connect, to let them connect. But it could be the impact of what happens in the locker room. So that's what we're saying here, that you combine all these things together, make them feel the ball slack against the handball floor. Make them taste the bitterness of defeat. You know, when the team has lost, you see the way the emotions, the way it goes up. Some people are on the ground. So you try to show or to explain how these people are feeling, are taking the defeat. They will feel like these people were hurt. Not just they lost, but maybe they might not know that some will just will not care. Will be going their lives as normal, will not show that they are concerned. But some they will lose. You even see that these people, when they go back home, they're not going to even eat lunch or even supper. The way they are looking, they are very concerned. So very seldom they also write about. Just to say, no. I think so there could be a reason why were these people very maybe down after the loss. Maybe there is something, or maybe they were promised here in habits. When you win, we are going to give you maybe 10 million each. You could have something like that. So they know that this loss, we have lost 10 million. So it could not be that it's because they have lost, but maybe because what we were promised. Some you see are saying they have lost, they don't still seem like they are worried. So the right will happen. So it's to talk about that, we talk about the sense. Yeah, let's say, but after this, I'll give you a personal assignment whereby you go and get the newspaper, try to see how the sports page, the way the stories are written, the way they try to describe events. I mean, in Malawi, they might not be that true, but I know in Malawi because this for professionals in this sport, I mean this in this area, you need to do this for now so many years. So the only guy I know has been doing it for years. And when you look at his writing, there is a time that you pass from that. You should have seen times pass from that because Peter Gangelo was there, but now I like him because he was creative. He tried to encourage them. So this hustle, I think he tapped in a little bit from what he was doing. I even told you that wherever you have headline, you can play around with the names of the people. There are scenarios where name of the one involved will give you a good time to play around with it. As I gave an example, that's sometimes that there was a piece in Jawinga, she was supposed to get something, so she missed out. Now the headline came to say, because she had was peace in Jawinga. There's no peace for Jawinga. You see? It's the same name, but it's been used in the headline, and it makes sense. When you read it, she was supposed to get it, she didn't get it. So she didn't. She's not at peace, but her name is Peace. You see? So you could think along those. So I even say like even the flames, they're not trying to play around the flames, right? When they talk about it, flames scorches something. So you know already the name flame is something that scorches. So you are playing around with a name to come up with the same headline, but it's a very good headline. You know, you are using the same name. So that's just part of the thing that you use to try to build it. So you will just notice how you see the difference. Try to compare the front page story, the way they are written, the information. You see most of the front page stories are going to be more straightforward. There's not going to be like using an argument or way play. They will just tell you straight in the quote. Well, when you go to sports, you should observe how they are talking about, even the way they will start talking about, right? So there's the times there's Mahama Daddy. At the nation, there's Gary Chiro. I'm not so sure if it's still writing by almost all the same, but Gary Chiro has been around. So I'm saying for people who are around, you eventually start to learn one or two things. But if it's not, these are the local guys. But if it's not, if you can get access to Sky News, I do believe Sky News have got the articles. They should have articles, Sky Sports, articles online from the UK, or any sports magazine from the UK or USA. Just, I want you just to appreciate the way they talk about, even the headline. The headline, the way they start talk about sporting events. You notice it's something else. What I'm talking about. Because the issue that I'm saying, they try to read, when you read, you should feel that this is sports. Right? Because the normal headline, I mean, private story, somehow you might not have that feeling that that excitement. You're just waiting for the information to say, oh, what has happened? Oh, he said this. While in sports, it's like they try to make you feel lively when you read it. Oh, so you notice that. So here, as you can see, they talk about it. Not just like let them hear the subject. You like appeal to all the five senses. Let them hear, let them smell, let them touch, let them see. All those things really can happen. That's why I give the example. This could be more of a creative writing. I can give. I don't know if you are one. There was a period whereby most of the ladies or most of the women in Malawi were fond of reading novels. I don't know if it's still a thing to get. Have you ever read novels? You too. There was a period, a certain period, when you meet girls, you discover they will be having a novel in their hand. And when you see a novel, you discover it's a friend, they have got novels in hand. If you go that section, you have got a very good cover. When you go inside, there's not even a single picture or photograph. It's just black and white text. And you tend to wonder, how do they, and they will tell you that, oh, maybe this is Demon Chess. I've read a five of them, and I've read the 661 book. And you see the book is a thick book like that. So how do they manage to go through? The thing is, when you read the novel, they do what I told you. The writings, they appeal to all your senses. When you read, they will make you see, they will make you smell, they will make you touch. So how do you do that? For you, if you want to get good writing. So because sometimes you say, how do you become a very good professional writer or creative writer? So if you don't know about senses, you will not know where to start from. But if you think about senses, how can you make somebody touch something in your text? So it means you need to describe it, or the way it is. You know, sometimes without you thinking about it, you tell your friends, not really, about something. Maybe there was a very bad smell somewhere. How do you manage to tell somebody that there was a bad smell? You use some other ways. You know, when I entered the room, it sounded like maybe rotten rats. You see, so when you talk about rotten rats, the one who is going to be listening will know what you're talking about. But I think it was that part. Yeah? It was. So you say, for example, maybe it was the smell like rotten fish, but a little bit like maybe there's a mold that was left there for 1 week. Then, and you describe and the person will say, and you visualize it. This is what you're talking about. So that kind of, language or the way you are, it's like you're trying to make somebody smell using words. So you can make somebody touch using words. So you're going to describe how does it feel when you put your hands on the soil. Then you describe it. Then you describe how do you feel when you touch something. At the end, the person will know what you're talking about. Yeah. This is a room 12. Right now. Okay. Right.
So sports news, they are more soft news.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we say that they could be taken as soft news. But I'm saying, as I told you, that as an assumption of sports news is that you don't talk about criminal activity. That's not an assumption. But as I told you that it's just because the sports journalists, most of them, they don't want to fall out with their sources. Because they are benefits. If you are in Google has with your sources. As I told you, I was comparing business reporters. Because business reporters, they deal with the companies. And they know that when you deal with the company, if they want you to write something good, they'll give you good packages. So if you think that I should be in body terms with these guys, I'll be in trouble. So they usually avoid writing those negative stories. So you wouldn't call them like business stories, like a soft news. So sports could also be like that, because most of the stories are more or less like straightforward. But as I told you, there is a lot of issues that happen that will not be taken as the softest news. It will be criminal in nature. So in sports, it will depend on what you are reporting about. If it's just normal sports, yeah, it will be like that. But if you talk about, for example, you heard about stories about the FIFA, the head of FIFA being accused of bribery. So if it's that one, it's more like a hard news story because it's talking about something that is criminal. Yeah. So if you remove the that part, it could be taken as a soft type of news. Because normally most of news are like for entertainment, like just to make you excited. But in sports, there could be in between. Just put it. It's going to be in between. It's not like if you talk about something like sports, now you're writing something like a corner. It's the same sports story, but now it's a corner. Well, it's not something that has happened now. You were just talking about maybe something that has happened in one summer days. So that would be more soft story, soft news. But as I told you, I told you that it would be just depend on what we usually read in the papers. that makes it to have that level, right? But which is like that. So, okay, I talked about that. I don't say much about it. So here, someone also talk about it. When you cover as a sports journalist, when you're covering professional games, professional events, right? Usually when you are covering professional events, maybe they talk about maybe the attire. Because they say somebody was reporting about his college or on his college as a reporter. Now he suddenly received an unusual assignment to cover the US Open, which is a little bit a professional event, right? So for him, he has never covered an event to that level. So he was thinking, how do you act? What do you wear? How? So it's like somebody you think, okay, specifically you would have, have this the event that what could be called professional events. You have to know what is needed for you to be able to cover it. Because it's not all, you don't just be, the way you are or dress up the same way to all these events. For example, if you think about golf, if you go to a golf club, you discover that there is a certain attire for people who go to golf, who are attending golf match, games. And it's fine when you go to golf club, you won't even find clothes or the attire for somebody who's attending a golf tournament being sold right away there on the golf course. You go there specifically like golf shoes. You find some other vendors that they are selling golf shoes. They're not even saying that you're going to buy them and wear them next time. They are sure that you might have to put your golf shoes, you buy them there and wear them right away there. Right? So usually you put on golf shades, whatever. So when you're going there, it means you should be aware that, going to golf club. So go there, not just putting on your Arsenal jersey. And somehow you look awkward for people who knows about golf. So as a professional, you know how to yourself deal with the preparation, because it will depend on if you are researching about the game. And it's important because, as he said, for example, if you are covering a match, a football match, you know that a football match is something like, let me say, 2 hours. Now it's a period of 2 hours. If you are being told to cover a golf tournament, if you don't know anything about golf tournament, you will be in for surprise. Because a golf tournament does not take 1 hour, 2 hours. Golf tournament is the whole day. It will start from maybe 8 o'clock. It will end or at 9 p.m. That's what happens like in Malawi. You find out that all the golfers, because they will go to a golf course, they'll be hitting their balls, and now they'll have like the holes, maybe there are 16 holes. But now it's a very wide place. They have to be hitting through. So they said the other problem will be you are going to be hit. There will be different golfers in different locations. How are you going to keep track that, okay, this people is playing like this? So say it will be confusing even for you. So when you stick to a game like that, say, you might just maybe keep track of 2 golfers, even one. You'll be observing the rest, but just keep track of maybe one major player or two players, and then see the way they are going about it. When you are going to be reporting, you are going to be focusing much on those players, those you'll be monitoring. Then you take that information. So, and as I'm saying, you also need to have knowledge of how the duration of the game. Because I remember from the first time I attended the golf tournament, I didn't know that it reaches until, like, for example, when you go there, you discover that they're going on until after. So you discover, you have a bar that is open. You have good way. So all the time you find some other players, they are there, eating food, but they're still playing. But you find them in maybe a bar place or a restaurant, they're eating there, and they're not even eating on the hard. They're only just casual. After that, they will leave after an hour, they will go back, continue. Now, you reach somewhere around 4 p.m., you discover maybe the majority of the golfers are done, but maybe 2 or 3 are still at the done. So according to the golf tournament, you don't announce the winner until all golfers are through. So if the other golfer is going to end 6 p.m., you should wait for that person, even if it's one person play. So after that one now, most of them will conclude around 5 p.m. A golf tournament starting from 8. 6. Now, after that, they're not going to immediately to announce the winner. You discover we stay around, the winners will be announced around 9 p.m. You are around there, and it's funny, and you just, how is happening? And you discover that they are around, now they will tell you that you have to announce it. Even some other people, they're still there, because there was a place where there's a disco. And they say after everything is done, the disco floor is open. It means people will still stick around after 9, after 10. So, you know, the reason is that people who play football golf are like maybe these big guys, businessmen, whatever. Now they just want to pass time, right? So they have got all the time. They don't even worry about how am I going to get home. Everyone will pay. Okay. So you don't have to worry. You say, no, it's getting done. It's nothing. You see? So the only thing is, you need to time, because you need to be aware about that. Because I remember, like we usually say, you get the stories, then after you get the stories, you go to your news to especially if you have got a video camera, because you want to take the clips and put them back. So I remember the second time I went like somewhere, it was in the sports club. Now it was finishing around 10. We are on our own transport, but now we had to still go to the music around that time. Because we could not take the camera and go with them home. No, it doesn't make sense. Because there's even clips there. So we have to go there and make sure that those clips are being dropped in, and also we want to make sure that one of them. And it's something that an experience that I said that you need to have knowledge. That you are following a certain sporting discipline as a professional game, whatever. You need to have that knowledge of that game in terms of the duration, what happens after the game, everything, for you to know how to plan your activities. Something like that. Okay. So usually what you need to know, so again, as I'm saying, if it's a professional game like that, you don't just go there and wait for the results. Immediately game ends, if the game ends, you target sources. You get interviews. And most of the time, if you go to a place like this, they'll tell you that, for you, there are so many journalists. So for you to make yourself in, you even just go and target one source, and you agree to be, and you tell the person before. But okay, immediately after this one, can we have an interview? Okay. I'll come to you. So you might have a separate interview. Because whatever you have as a group, everyone is so somehow you will say security was a group. So you see immediately after having a group, you see individually they are going having a separate interview somewhere. So you see such things based on how you plan the thing. So and it's tricky when you go some of these events, because if you usually go, you discover most of the breaks. It's the time they will tell you, like if you have this morning session, they will tell you maybe at 10, like all the meetings that take place in hotels. Usually at around 10, you have got a tea break, 10. And the 12, you have got lunch break. So you as journalists, sometimes you attempt immediate tea break, because you are angry, then people are going to get tea, and then you're going also to get tea. It means you don't know your job. Because the time of the tea break is the time when you get interviews. So when the tea break, people are rushing to get their cakes and the like, you pinpoint where the sources are to be interviewed. Because if you may happen after that, you might need to keep off and go. So when you go to such events, you might notice amateurs. You will tell these are amateurs. You are seeing them busy with their cups and cakes there, they're eating there. While we were sitting for maybe a gathering interview. So afterwards they were asking, you want to go up interview? When are you going to? No, then you're going to tell your job. Okay, so you're going to encounter such things when you go around and oh, this is what happens. And if you say there are professional games like whereby they end at night, usually they are not like the afternoon ones. At night, you've got like an open bar. I saw one of the event whereby it was at the Mount Sochi. So you have got an open bar, meaning it's not just a front, an open bar whereby you have got whiskeys for free. So it ended up, we have done, and then you discover that all of a sudden within 15 minutes, there is one table with so many bottles of beer surrounded by journalists. I said, this is embarrassing. If somebody will see this, then all of a sudden, say, maybe one of the journalists, I know one of the guy, but right now he's one of the, I mean, he's one of the top guy, I think that he be the house. But that time we saw him, having a bag like this, taking some of the bottle from there, putting somewhere, well, these things. Yeah, so those things are happening, because and you see, some of the village journalists, these are here. After the function, there's going to be, usually, there should be some, allowance. They'll be just, instead of looking for sources to do, who's going to, because they say Simon, who's going to be doing Simon. And when you go in this function, it's where you see, you encounter a lot of fake journalists. There are some people who claim to be journalists. You meet them there. When you ask them which media house they're coming from, they will, like one of this time, somebody came, we were all invited. Now, when he was asked, where are you coming from? I'm a freelance journalist from around the town. From around the town, why we didn't know that country, it was not just, we didn't just go. There were invitation letters specific to media houses. So you find some other people just jump in. One of the events you discover, I think one radio station sending 3 people, not even camera, just 3 journalists, one function. You knew when you were saying, can you introduce yourself? This one is introducing from this radio station. So the 3 people identifying from the same radio station. How can you send 3 people covering just one story? No, there's not even TV, radio. But the issue was people thought that could be just there. And the sad thing is, it was one of the events, there was nothing completely, 0. And it just wasted their time. So you see such things happening now. But apart from that, those are just, I didn't been right. We write a story about the roads, it will be another story. Second. But you see those. Let me maybe conclude on this one. We'll talk about the post-game analysis. I a little bit talk about it. Post-game analysis, that I said, is you have those programs whereby not just the immediate after the game, but you have the game was done maybe long time ago, not very long time ago, and you try to go through some other details. Like say, once the dust has settled and the ink on the game, then you have game recap as dried up. Because when you have, if you remember, we say that on the game story, we will have, we say we will have like, do you say it? We talked about the first one, we talked about what? The pre-game. We say we have the pre-game. Pre-game is like, okay, pre-game, then we have the recap. Because the pre-game is like the first one, before the game. The recap is immediately after the game. Then you have got the post-game analysis, which is like a tape now. It means the pre-game is gone, the recap is gone, then you are having another program now, which is now talking about the same. So it should be different. So because the recap is immediately after the game, then where you have immediate reaction. Well, this one is like, there was a game this weekend. The weekend there was a game, then you were talking about it. Wow, so there's more to talk about in this post-game analysis than maybe in the recap. So, as they say, once the dust has settled and the ink on the game recap has dried, the sports writer has a chance to reflect in tranquility, or otherwise analyze what the heck just happened, right? And analysis is the third kind of standard game article, and one that features opportunities for the most writerly kind of prose, right? So it's like, it's more, it's more or less like, you are like a forum, yeah, whereby you talk about a lot of things. It's going to be much more creative, yeah, in terms of writing, because you have got all the time. Because I said, if you are talking about the link up, it's just, immediately after, it's not a long time. In this one, you have time to observe what was said before, then what was said after, then you could now write as if you are writing a novel. Yeah? So you have all the angles to talk about again. Like here, talk about there's this right this best for respondents. Who's Roger? What? I'm telling you, my dog also gone, disappeared. What's the time now? I don't know. Let's be rushed now. This is this one. Because my mind is telling me the truth. Where was that? But as I say, for us not to be like just talking the talk. After we are done like this, when we go out there, try to be observing the sports page, sports writer, say, the actual back sports page, even in the forum, the forums about sports, check the way they are going to be describing things and see what you can learn. Okay, this. Where did we? Not this. My file here disappeared when I was touching. Okay, I should be here. I'll just be quickly because I don't want to talk about much. I've got a few things to talk about here. I was talking about there's this issue. Okay. I'll say this Roger Angel, whatever. He was a baseball correspondent for the New Yorker. Say usually files the stories months, if not years, after the events they described took place. You see? So you will have, like I just said, talking about here, analyze them even months after. Then you're talking about something else, but now that's how you can see it. How can you make how can you write about maybe a game that has happened months ago and make them still relevant? So it means it will be more than just talking about it. There was a game, anything like this. It will be more than that. You see? So that's why I say that in this race, there should be, usually you find yourself an angle you're going to be based on. Right? Specific angle that you feel that this angle would be interesting. You're talking about that game, but using this perspective. That's what happens. Say here. If you check the range, well, this is from that book, Sports Revolution. I think you read there's the passage that the guy was talking about. And you say here, when I began writing sports pieces, it was clear to me that the doing of big league baseball, the daily happenings on the field, the managerial strategies, the celebration of heroes, the medical and the financial bulletins, the clubhouse gossip were so enormously reported that I would have to find some other aspect of the game to study. Right? I decided to sit in the stands for a while at least and watch the baseball from there. I wanted to concentrate not just on the events down on the field, but on their reception. Right? I wanted to pick up the feel of the game as it happens to the people around me. So you can see the perspective was trying when you write up, whereby if you just focus on these people who are playing, you will not even know the perspective from the person who is watching the game, right? As a spectator, right? So we wanted to talk about the same game, the same event on another perspective. So it will be different from what was reported by other people. Because those people, they will be reporting it from the other angle, not from the perspective of the person who was seeing, like just as a spectator, right? And they talk about one thing writers go for in analysis pieces is perspective. That's what I'm saying. We read it, but maybe we don't think much that what we read has got a certain perspective when they are writing. We just feel like maybe they're just important. If you can try to look at the same story on a different perspective, you will discover that some of the things maybe will be viewed different from what we first viewed from the story we read. And unfortunately, because we are, most of the time we consume the information not as the journalists, but as just maybe ordinary people. You must not know, most of you might not have that mentality to think about perspective. Like, what perspective are these people using? And when I talk about perspective, I gave an example of ordinary stories. Like, talk about the way, I usually give example, the way the Ukraine story is being reported. BBC, the way they report the Ukraine story. I told her that they will be talking about the suffering of the Ukrainian. They'll be talking about how Russia is bombing Ukraine. They'll be talking about what is needed to help Ukraine defend itself. What is needed to find equipment to arm Ukraine. And now, listen to what I noted. I noted now, they had to take a journalist. Now he joined the Ukrainian army. So he was watching the way the Ukrainians are fighting. So I said, have you noticed that this is you are having a story using one perspective? People who listen to it might not notice. But I noticed, no. These two sides are fighting. Now, when you are getting, for example, when they say Russia has bombed a certain hospital, based on who? The source is the Ukrainian officials have said. Now, these people are fighting. So how can you just believe that whatever these people are saying, people who are not being wrong, and you are believing whatever they say is the truth? Is that realistic? Because if you can ask these people from the other side of the same issue, they will tell you different things. You discover no wonder they say when people go to Ukraine, when you hear what is reported about Ukraine, you are going to be pro-Ukraine. And you surprise when you go to Russia, you discover there are a lot of people, majority of people are supporting what Putin is doing in Ukraine. Why? There's a different perspective. A perspective that this perspective, that is the information is being done is not reported. It means if you can try to look at the same issue on a different perspective, because I was wondering that when you join in this, have you ever tried to join in the other now to see the difference? So it's the same as I'm telling you that most of the analysis, you don't just analyze because it's after the game long time. Now, you don't just report it as if you are there and you see the show. You try to explore, okay, what perspective, maybe they didn't, the article you saw, they use a certain perspective. Try to pinpoint a perspective you feel that it was not exploited. Maybe it was a perspective, maybe of the coaches, how the coaches were analyzed, maybe they saw the game, and how they felt. So you could go in that direction, and you will see the difference. Oh, this is the way. Or maybe on the players themselves. Yeah, so usually you have people doing that in post-game analysis. I mean post-game analysis. And they seek to compare current performances with those of the past, right? Okay. me see here. What else? Sports writers love adjectives, and an analysis piece is just the right place to use them, right? If you like to use adjectives, what are the adjectives? You know, those ways that you try to what is what I say? What adjective? Okay, let's go back to grammar. Let me see grammar. How can I say what adjectives? You know them, but how can you say what is an adjective? Huh? You tell us what you know. What are they? Because we know what when you say, for example, he walked slowly. Yeah. Slowly is an adjective, right? So we know all those. So what is an adjective?
It's a word that describes a verb.
Yeah, the way should be something like that. Because there's a verb and there's a word that is describing the manner of that verb, right? The way that action has been done. Yeah, so I mean, in this positive game analysis, there's a lot of the use of those adjectives, whereby I'm saying because there's a lot of description. Don't just mention the thing, but you try to explain it further. Yeah, so there's something like that. I think next time I'll try to but the assignment, as I said, it will be just when you get the newspaper, you didn't have them in the library. Just go to sports pages. I know when you check sports pages, the inside pages, like page number should be the inside page, the international sports. So usually they are brief stories. But when you go back page, the inside page, they are just normal stories. But on the internet, check the international, not African, mid-African articles. I discovered that I'm not impressed much with African, but newspapers from the UK and the USA. They are the ones that can get good discussions. Right? So quickly as I'm ending here, but I want to talk about it. Okay, this is now, I'll just end with this. Okay. I believe that I sent these documents, or there's even this book, Sports Journalists, where it says Sports Journalists. You're going to see what I've been talking about in that book. Then there is somewhere whereby there is the featurizing the game. It's just a short clip. You will just look at it. Then there is the game details. After game details, there's expanded cover. That's the last part. But those are small passages. I wanted just to end up with the checklist. You're going to the game, the checklist. I think it's the time from there. You already know what it's like. What are you going to do? Checklist on the game, on the results. Results. There's you're going to give final score, names of teams, type of scores. What else? You need to talk about how the game is, where and when the game took place, turning point of the game, winning play, key strategy, outstanding players, effects on the standings, rankings, individual records, scoring, details. The details of the important, if it's the goals, maybe what. So all those. Then you have strikes, records involved. When you say strikes, maybe it's a winning streak. But that's a streak. So I think that's what I'm saying, that is the point about the game. It's more than just saying that, it has scored. You should be keeping track, okay, this win is the 7th win in a row. Or maybe this is the 7th defeat in a row. Those are streaks. So you should be able to take note of streaks there. No wonder, that's what I'm saying, it's all about the research. When you are going there, do research first, okay? Outstanding players, who is a top scorer? So this person, when he scores this goal, where is it going to be on the right track? If this team is going to win, where is it going to be on the right track? What is the effort? This team win, maybe the bottom team scored. Maybe you see all those things. Like you see the weekend, Man City won, Arsenal lost, Man City went top. Okay? Issues like those. And so you really see, okay, maybe the next team, if Manchester United win, this is going to happen. So you will also talk about those. External factors of that game, what happened? It was a media tape. Maybe the crowd was not good. Or maybe there was whatever, all those environment issues we also talk about. We talk about post-game comments, we talk about size of the crowd. Was it a full stadium? Maybe it was just a stadium was full to capacity. Or maybe you also observe those and the injuries. What are injuries we were there before? What are injuries are there after? Duration of the game when relevant. Because sometimes we know that it's going to be 90 minutes plus 4 plus 5. Nowadays, you know, people have 90 minutes plus 11. Okay? And you say, so if you have a game like 90 minutes, that's something to point out. How can you have additional minutes, like something like 10 minutes, 12 minutes? So if it's no more additional minutes, like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that's nothing to do. But if you can have those additional minutes that are awkward, it will be good. And other statistics, as I said, that you check other statistics of the game. Right, so now I think let's pause there. And as I said, I think let's improve on when you have the books with the notes to go through them now than just keep going. You say, when the class is coming, when the class is in week, no. That's not helpful. Okay. About the same topic.
Yeah.